Yo, what's poppin', guys? Luker back again. Today we're going to talk about Standard. I know my last video was about duels, but I'm playing Standard again. It's not that fun. Meta, the meta's alright, it's cool. They nerfed Mage. I'm happy about that. But I do feel like I need the new expansion to come. That's all it is. So yeah, today we're going to talk about Standard. We're going to take a look at the top 5 decks to climb ladder in November. Obviously, the new expansion comes out on the 19th. I want to say it's the 19th, which means this video is only be relevant for about 2.5 weeks. But when the new expansion comes out, I'll do another video. The best decks, the best day 1 decks, I guess, to craft for Darkmoon Faire. Madness of the Darkmoon Faire. And then I'll do like the best 5 decks of the Darkmoon Faire after week 1. I'll just keep content coming out for you guys. That way you can always have the best lists possible. I'm joined by my good friend, Skelly, over here. Skelly the Skull. He's a homie. Please. Please. He asks for one favor, and that's to subscribe to the YouTube channel and leave a like. That's all Skelly wants. He's got to put a thumbs up, and you got to subscribe. It's pretty simple. You make him happy. But yeah, anyways, we're going to jump right into these things, or these top decks. Before we get in, though, I just want to say, I'm not going to name any names. I've been looking all over YouTube. I've been trying to find different, I don't want to say inspiration, but just see what other people were doing. And I noticed some people were doing their versions of, like, top decks, or best decks this month, best decks this week. And I was like, I'll give it a look. And I don't know if they're playing a different game or if they're just liars, but these people just make stuff up, man. I don't know where they're getting their stats. Maybe they're using, like, non-premium HS replay stats, or maybe they're just not, like, filtering the stats properly, because they put the best decks right and they're like Secret Rogue, Face Hunter, Highlander Hunter, and it's like, what fucking game are you playing? It's just not a thing. They're like this, like, 6th and 7th best decks, maybe. Yeah, it's just wild, man. People crazy. Anyways, guys, we're gonna jump right in. Top 5 decks to climb the ladder with in November. If you enjoy the video, do Skelly and myself a favor. Like and subscribe. It helps the channel a lot. We hit 200 subscribers this month, or last month in October, which was my goal. If in November, if we could hit, I want to say 300, but I think it's a little bit overzealous. But if we could hit 300, I'm gonna nut a lot. There's gonna be a need for new pants. And, well, if you want to help me out, just press the button. Alright, guys, I'm done selling out. There's a lot of other stuff I want to sell out, but I'm done selling out. Let's hop right in to the top decks to climb the ladder with in November. Alright, so, usually when we do these videos, it's top 4 decks, but I realize people probably prefer 5 because, well, 5 is a bigger number than 4, so we're going to do top 5 decks. I'm going to try to keep this video a bit shorter than my last video. My last video was very long, but, you should go check it out. I'll probably link it off somewhere, like here, or here, I don't know, it's linked somewhere. It's a guide on duels. Duels comes out officially in about 2 weeks. I think it's on the 12th. It's, you'll get access to that. You can play Heroic, you can pay gold to play. It's pretty much like Dungeon Run, but multiplayer. It's pretty, I don't want to say hard to get into. You can just kind of jump into it, but you need to build a deck. And I made a guide on the best decks for each class. There's even deck codes, which makes your life really simple, so check out my last video. Alright, anyways. I said I was done selling out, that was a lie. Now, we're going to take a look at the best deck. The way we're going to do this is the first deck is going to be the best deck. Let's kind of look at like a tier list. Tier 1 will be the first, like, 2 decks. Tier 2 will be the other 3. Just going to be taking a look at the best decks. I'm going to go over it a little bit, and then yeah, hopefully it helps you out for ladder. Deck codes will be in the description below. If there's a certain deck you want to see on the video length bar thingy, you should be able to press, there'll be like chapters you can click on, and it'll take you to the video that you want, or the deck that you want. I definitely recommend watching all parts of the video. If it's too slow for you, you can change the speed of the video, but you probably won't be able to understand me because I already talk at 2 times the speed of a normal human being. But yeah, first and foremost, look at the best deck, one with the 5th best deck. I recommend watching all of them, that way you have an understanding of the best decks in the game, and also the decks you might be running into. Anyways, enough rambling. Finally, the first deck is Demon Hunter, Soul Demon Hunter, at that. It's, McBannerface's list is what we're looking at. It's pretty standard. I think most lists run the same package of cards. McBannerface is a fantastic player, and I would argue one of the best Demon Hunters, so yeah, that's what we're looking at his list. One thing you'll notice is he has Penflinger in here. A lot of people aren't running Penflinger. But it's kind of like, there's a mix. You're either like not running Penflinger, or people are running 2 Penflingers. If you're Zeddy, you hate Penflingers and you talk about how bad they are, but you run it anyways. What's that about Zeddy? But yeah, Penflinger gives you added reach, helps you fight for the board by pinging stuff off. It's just a decent card. You can often like play it out on like turn 3, or turn 4. You can play like Penflinger, Chaos Strike, and then Penflinger to kill a minion, and leave the Penflinger on board, and people will like over-invest resources into killing it. It's just like an all-around decent minion. And another interesting thing, kind of the only other difference in this list from other Demon Hunter lists, is the inclusion of 2 Glaive-Bound Adepts. This card is just a good body, it fights for board. People were running them before, but they kind of transitioned out of it. People felt that it was a little too clunky, a little too heavy, and McBannerface said, fuck you, we're putting it back in. And I mean, it's at X extra reach, it fights for board against some of the slower decks. It's a bit worse against aggro decks, but there aren't too many of them right now, so I think Lathe-Bound Adept is a very good card, and I recommend running it. Yeah. Scholomance Hunter's, I would argue, the best deck in the game. If you've played Ladder, you've seen it everywhere. It's just all over the place. Your general mulligans are going to be pretty simple. Keep your 1-drops, keep your 2-drops. Against aggressive decks, you can keep all Dropsheet Warblades. And if you have a really good hand, keep Marrow Slicer. If you're on the coin, you can sometimes keep Marrow Slicer by itself. It's just a really good card. It's 4 mana, 8 damage. And it enables your Lathe-Bound Adept, so, you know, probably should put it in your deck. Or keep it in your hand, sorry. But yeah, keep your 1-drops, such as Spirit Jailer, your 2-drop, Mana Feeder Panthera, or Wandmaker. And then if you are against aggressive decks, you can keep Shard Shatter Mystic alongside cards like Spirit Jailer. Use your head, think about what your opponent's going to do, and just mulligan accordingly. Good and bad matchups. I'm not going to talk too much about matchups for every deck because, I'll be honest, I've played most of them, but not to the point where I've mastered the matchups. But Demon Hunter typically performs pretty well against most of the meta. It just kind of beats the bad decks, and then it beats the good decks too. I think the bad matchups, you could argue, would be Tempo Mage, but people are always undecided. I think it was like pretty close before the nerf, so it might even be favored now after the Mage nerf. But I think you lose to Paladin. I think Pen Paladin's probably pretty hard for you. They can just curve out with like really annoying minions and then hit you in the face with pens and Librams. It's not very fun. That could be a blatant lie though. I'm pretty sure that's a bad matchup, but I haven't seen enough Paladin. People on ladder at like Legend or like Diamond 5 reset rank are playing a lot of pure Paladin instead of Pen Paladin. It makes it kind of hard to assess the meta. But anyways, Demon Hunter's a solid choice for ladder. Recommend checking out. I think it's by far the best deck. Depending what you're running into, you might want to tech up the list a little bit, add an extra Pen Flanger, take out an Adept, whatever. But I think this will be the best deck for ladder. But now let's look at the second best deck. Second best deck, well, I've already spoken about it a little bit. It is Pen Paladin, Broom Paladin, Libram Paladin, whatever you want to call it. The deck that runs Paladin cards and neutral cards. So it's not pure. I looked it up, by the way. It does, in fact, beat Demon Hunter. But yeah. I mean, look, this hurts me to say it. I absolutely hate this deck. Most of you know this by now. I've spoken about it so much. I fucking hate Pen Paladin. I think it's a dumb deck. I don't think it's fun to play against. I don't think it's fun to play. And I also don't think that it is very skill testing. There's like some turns that are pretty hard, but I don't think on average it's very skill testing. But people will die on the hill disagreeing with me, and regardless, it is arguably the second best deck in the game. I do think a lot of people thought it was the best deck in the game for a while, and I think they were wrong. But what happens is Blizzard nerfs every deck in the game, and then Paladin doesn't get nerfed, and then Paladin's eventually pretty good. Conspiracy? I think that was their plan. Regardless, Pen Paladin is pretty good. I just want to let you guys know that, as I said, Broom, Pen, and Libram are all interchangeable, so you'll probably hear me say the names all over the place. It's all the same deck. Yeah, this deck's pretty good. It has good matchup spread against the field. The list is pretty standard, though. The one thing you might notice in some lists is they'll be running Amber Watchers, or some people might include weapon removal. Personally, I lean away from it. I like the very concise, clean list that runs Pens. You run the Libram synergies. You run the good cards like McGurgle. You run Salthat's Pride to draw with the draw package of Novice and Loot Hoarder. Just the general strong cards. You do run Allura. I know some people were discussing cutting Allura. I cannot get by that. I think Allura is almost always good. The only time it's not good is when you play it and you hit the Libram that gives you the weapon and equalities your opponent's board. But like even then, it's not the end of the world. But the upswing of getting an 8/8 Taunt Divine Shield, Hand of Bedaling, or I guess in some cases even just getting a Libram on your minion, it's pretty good. I want to run this. I think that Allura is a key card, and the fact that people are cutting it is absurd to me. So I definitely recommend playing the list that I have here and playing Allura. Please, 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 please play Allura. It's a good card. But yeah, I think Libram Paladin is the arguably second best deck in the game. Some people might say it's the first. I disagree. I think Demon Hunter has that spot. I think there might even be a world where Pen Paladin or Libram Paladin is the third best deck, not the second, but it's pretty close. If anything, it's like a fraction of a percentile, so it's not that big of a deal. You can play this deck, you can hit Legend with it, you can hit top 10 Legend with it, you can hit Diamond 5. Whatever your goal is, this deck can get you there. I did downplay a little bit. The deck does take skill, but some of the games really are just Hearthstone at its finest. So, regardless, if this is your playstyle, check it out. I won't shame you too much. I don't king shame, I don't deck shame, I don't pen shame, you know? My dad taught me to be proud of my pen flinger, and hey, I am. So yeah, I hate myself so much. Yeah, so anyways, Pen Paladin, second best deck I would say right now, maybe third, but let's put second. Let's talk about the one that I think is currently the third best deck. Alright, I'm back with the third best deck. I hope these cuts make it feel like I go away and then come back. Different man, I'm a changed person. I even lost the headset. It was annoying me. Now my hair's free. I was literally sitting there in the middle of the second recording and I was like, people are going to ask me if I cut my hair, so I should show you guys that I did not cut my hair. It is still here, like a lion's mane. The third best deck though, because I know you guys don't care about me as much as I wish you did. Third best deck is Tempo Mage. I know it was nerfed. The deck is still good. You still run the nerfed cards. I'm going to be completely honest with you. Evocation, Astromancer, Solarian, still solid cards. The list we're featuring today is Pizza HS's list. He hit Legend Day 1 with it. Let me check his Twitter. He hit rank 17 when he came in. It's pretty much a stock Tempo Mage list. It has 1 Conjurer's Calling, 1 Arcane Intellect, 1 Devolving Missiles, 2 of all the good cards, and then obviously Legendaries are 1-ofs. But it's just a stock Tempo Mage list. The nerfs hurt it, don't get me wrong. If it wasn't nerfed, it would be at the top of my list, but it was nerfed, and now it's third. In the previous segment, I guess, with Paladin, I mentioned that number 2 and 3 are kind of interchangeable on the list, and like it's a fraction of a percent difference. This is the deck I was referencing. I think there's a world where Tempo Mage still is the first or second best deck, but I'm going to put it as number 3. I think it's safer without having tested it too much myself and without seeing it too much on ladder. There's this like phenomenon that happens when Blizzard nerfs a deck. No one plays it. People just stop touching it. The deck goes away, you don't see it for like 2 weeks, and then all of a sudden it'll come back. And that's kind of where we are with Tempo Mage right now. Nobody's playing it, people are trying different things because no one wants to play it. The deck, it's beating a dead horse. We've played the deck so much, no one wants to continue playing it. So, Tempo Mage is kind of off the face of the earth right now, but I do think it'll come back soon, and I think it'll come back not as strong as ever, but nearly as strong as ever. So, get ahead of the curve, start playing it now. Spend the next 14 days playing slots, roulette, casino games with this deck. Evocation is still good. It's a bit harder to play. You can't get it from wand makers anymore, but all I can say, man, it's still good. I definitely try it out. Its matchup spread is... I don't want to speak too much about it. I don't know following the nerfs. I think it still is probably like slightly favored against Demon Hunter, but it might be slightly unfavored. Before it was like, I would argue 52%. Now it's probably 50% against Demon Hunter. But you probably beat all the jank stuff. You probably beat Paladin still. Mage, like, historically has beaten Pen Paladin so hard that... Or Libram Paladin, that it probably still does. So yeah, I'd assume it still beats Paladin. You probably still lose to Bomb Warrior. Yeah, I guess that makes sense to me. So, in that case, I am confident to talk about the matchups. The matchups make sense. I think Tempo Mage is a solid deck for ladder, though, and I recommend checking it out. And I think it can get you to where you want to go. And you probably hear the pipes in my house, but that's okay, because I love pipes. Tempo Mage, take it to ladder. Let me know how it does for you guys. The fourth deck that I would recommend for the top deck for November is something I don't want to talk about. In fact, I considered making the segment only like 10 seconds and just skipping to the fifth deck because I actually hate this deck, but it's Priest. I'm sorry. Yeah. There's no Galakron, it is just Dragon Control Priest, also known as Zenananananananananan Priest, the legend himself. I'd recommend checking out his stream. It should be like twitch.tv/Zenananananananan. Good luck spelling it. You can figure it out though, I'm sure. Anyways, little German boy plays his deck a lot. He thinks it's pretty good, and you know, his results and other people's results with it speak true. I will say, I talk a lot of smack about Priest. I think the deck's fine. I think it is powerful. I just personally find it can be kind of annoying to play against, but again, no deck shaming here. The deck plays out like a normal mid-range control-ish deck. You're going to play your minions on curve, you're going to play Cleric of Scales, you're going to play Sethek, you're going to play Wandmaker, you're going to try to play Apotheosis or Mind Flayer on 3. If your opponent has some good cards, you'll play Mind Flayer and say, my good cards, they're mine now. And then Cabal Acolyte alongside your Wave of Apathy to steal things. Seems to be Priest's identity, just a thief. It's kind of sad how they've fallen from the Raza Priest days. But yeah, then you have your dragons to curve out with Twilight Drake, Cobalt Spellkin, etc., etc. The deck is pretty good right now, and I think it can definitely stall out against a lot of things, specifically Demon Hunter. If you just heal every turn and just prevent them from ever pressuring, you can probably stall out pretty well, and I think that makes it a pretty solid choice for ladder. I know stats say that Demon Hunter is actually favored against Priest. I think it's like 55% for Demon Hunter, but I think that with like one Ooze or one Sticky Finger, you can flip that matchup around. Obviously, you'd have to change the list that I'm mentioning here, And I would suggest playing this list over changing it, but if you do feel like maybe you want to be more favored in that matchup, you can probably cut, like, I'd say Mind Render, honestly. Mind Render and, like, maybe Cobalt Spelkin, and put Acidic Swamp Ooze and Sticky Fingers. Or 2 Sticky Fingers, 2 Swamp Ooze, whatever. I definitely suggest if you're seeing a lot of Demon Hunter or a lot of Bomb Warrior making that change, but otherwise, I think this list is probably the most well-rounded and best one for ladder. I don't have much else to say. I'll be honest, this expansion has been very hard for me to play Priest, even when I'm, like, practicing for tournaments or doing, like, long marathons for stream where I'm playing all the different decks. Priest has always been very hard for me to play because I just don't feel like I'm doing anything interesting. I feel like I'm just hoping my opponent's cards are good and that I'm stealing the good ones, and that's just not very interesting to me. But regardless, you can't really deny it, right? The deck is good. It's been a good deck this whole expansion. It's been nerfed twice, once with Mind Render and once with Cabal Acolyte. I think it was only twice. It might have been 3 times, but I think it was twice. Yeah, it's hard to deny it. The deck is good, and if you like this kind of playstyle, then this deck is definitely well built and well suited to your needs, so check it out and let me know how it goes. Alright guys, the last deck that we're going to be taking a look at for our top 5 is Highlander Hunter. I think the 5th place is kind of arguable. You could say that it's Highlander Hunter, you could say it's Control Warrior, Bomb Warrior, Tempo Warrior, Face Hunter. I think I said Face Hunter. Yeah, there's just quite a few decks that I think can fit into this slot. Personally, I think Highlander Hunter has been seeing the most play on ladder, and I think it just has, like, decent matchups against the other top 4 decks. Although it might not be the most consistent deck, I think it's pretty much okay. Instead of using a streamer's deck for this one because I couldn't find an innovative one, I'm using HS Replay's list. It's pretty stock, it's very standard, it's very good. One thing you'll notice is Highlander Hunter has kind of changed its playstyle over the weeks. I don't know why I'm doing this, I'm not like an Italian mob member, but Highlander Hunter has changed its playstyle over the last few weeks. Before you'd see that it would run just like a normal Highlander deck with a curve of like 1 to 7, and then has like its big 7 drops, 8 drops, 9 drops. Now it's a very aggressive curve. I think it tops out at 4, aside from Diamond Tamer Brand. You're playing minions from 1 to 4 and spells, trying to take board, push damage, and then on turn 7 or 6 with coin, you're trying to play Diamond Hammer Brand. You're trying to close out the game with a large amount of burst. I think which you can enable with Polkelt actually. Polkelt makes this deck work the way it does because you can tutor Brand very consistently. Yeah, I think that. Whew, sorry. I think that Highlander Hunter is definitely a good choice for ladder, and as I'm playing on my climb to legend within the first 2 days of the month, I've seen a lot of Highlander Hunter everywhere. So it's definitely a good choice, and I would definitely suggest picking it up if you miss Hunter. I hope the new expansion brings us a new way to play the deck. I hope that instead of just curving out with aggressive minions, we can get some cool like beast synergies or death rattles maybe. I don't know. I hope we find something that fits Hunter more than just Highlander curving out Smork. But hey, only time will tell. This is the last deck we'll be looking at for our top 5 though, guys, so why don't we hop on over to the conclusion. Alright guys, thank you very much for watching. This wraps up our top 5 decks to take the ladder in November. Best decks for ladder in November, etc., etc. Hope you guys enjoyed. As I said before, I think all these decks are pretty good. You can play them in pretty much any order. I think Demon Hunter is the best one, and then following would be Libram Paladin, Tempo Mage, Priest, and then Hunter, as the order of the video would suggest. But as I said, I think they're all pretty similar in power level. Demon Hunter is probably like a 54% win rate deck, and then Hunter is probably like 52%. So if you're good with the deck, it'll mitigate and offset that extra percent, so you may as well play the one you like. You'll have a better time. Deck codes can be found in the description below. As I mentioned, they always are there. You can also find my socials and etc. If you want to follow my Twitter and Twitch, that'd help out a lot. I stream 6 days a week, take Wednesdays off. Yeah, stop on by. It's just like YouTube, except I'm less filtered out. I'm authentic. But for real, guys, thank you for watching. If you did enjoy the video, please help me out. Press the subscription button in the bottom right under the video. Thumbs it up. It helps out a lot. I have a lot of cool content coming up in the coming weeks for the new expansion. Things like theory crafting with the best decks, looking at the best legendaries, and then a set review. I don't do like a full 5-hour set review because I wouldn't want to watch that personally, so I do speed round set reviews in 15 minutes or less. They're a lot of fun. Maybe you'll enjoy it. So yeah, guys, if you enjoyed, do all the things I mentioned. You don't have to do them, but it helps me out a lot. Yeah. Peace out, Cub Scouts. Thanks for watching. Hope you guys enjoyed, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye-bye.